was it quite a stressful situation being in the gallery when you had your exhibition and all those people there to see your work?
Like, I used to shy away from people a lot, but I'm not so bad these days. I don't mind going to openings of exhibitions.
Andrew Blyth sold over half the works in his first solo exhibition in Auckland, and his art graces the walls of galleries in New York. Andrew's been dealing with mental illness for most of his life.
It's very encouraging, and it's always, it's a lift for me, and always makes me think, I can do better.
Andrew happily spends his days tucked in the corner of Toi Ora Art Studio. He's most happy when he's observing the world.
Most of my life, I've drawn and painted. I used to sit outside on the Queen Street, and I used to draw there with black felt tip pens on recycled paper.
Andrew's constant and extreme anxiety causes physical pain. He can't always tell what's real and what's not.
Covenants on tablets, written upon stone, shallow time, where fake bodies face their judgment, where lies lie back their Alzheimer ashes.
He works hard to overcome what he calls his ogres and tanifas.
Simplistic whack flow.
I still think that I'm not really very well, but I think times when I'm ill, but I usually, sometimes even when I'm working here, that I'm still ill, but I just keep on working. Seems to help a lot,
Toi Ora is a place where people who've experienced mental illness can work and find their own way to recovery.
Yeah.
Those who come here have discovered that creativity can be a means to mental wellness.
The creativity is a huge aspect, I think, in terms of the cathartic process of healing and recovery. We all have levels of wellness and unwellness, and it's about how we are accepted as a huge thing. Like with the Like Minds campaign, it's about that acceptance, and being able to be part of your community is really important.
Tell me about how being creative has kept you well.
For me, I decided one day that I had to get out of bed and talk to nurses, so, people who work where I am, and so all of that started, thinking, well, I've got to really get on with my life. Like in some boarding houses out there, what you do is you wake up and you have your breakfast and you have a cigarette and have another cigarette and, all day, and that's all that people do. But, I wasn't really very happy with only that, wasting my life away.
Art allows Andrew time out from delusions associated with paranoid schizophrenia.
It's quite incredible. This whole shelf is Andrew's work. Actually, just a third of what he's done over the last 5 years. There's so much here. He's constantly working.
Can you talk a bit again, Andrew, about some of the process?
It's funny, it's sort of always trying to improve them and, to work on perfection, but, it's that sense of, like the naive or primitive comes out in them, which is, I find it to be quite effective, with some of them, the whole thing sort of divides and multiplies, and so.
Yeah, his work has evolved, is constantly evolving. He's very critical himself, which is often the way with artists, I guess. He's always trying something new or trying to perfect something or reduce things. He's some people could see him as being quite sort of minimal in some ways, but there's obviously this huge journey going on in his work.
What I'm really doing though is I'm just trying to work with tones, work with all the tones between, black and white,
Stuart Shepherd, who's been promoting outsider art at the New York Art Fair over the last years, has commented once, so I'd love to take students up to Toi Ora to show them how Andrew sort of approaches his work.
Reflections on life and friendship. There are many people who care, but then again, there are those that don't care a jot. Life is precious to a soldier, say, or a mother or father. Tragedy is not unusual. There is very little love on a motorway. I love to go for long walks, and I do often after Toi Ora. I walk along K Road and along Simon Street, and take the long way home to get back to the place where I stay, and so I always enjoy it. And try crossing between the lines of cars in the evenings, through rain, bright yellow lights, the cool. Sometimes there are people who have many friends, though such a thing is possibly to do with knowing how to be a good friend. To be in love or to walk alone along the beach on a Sunday afternoon, the cool dark shadows of the city denying sunlight, signalling a cold winter.